Weekend Sunrise money man Scott Phillips from the Motley Fool. Scotty, morning to you. Really difficult to look at how much this is going to impact down the track. One economist from the CBA predicts the Sydney lockdown could cost about 200,000 jobs. We're hearing these figures of a couple of $1 billion a week now. What's going to be the impact?
Yeah, Matt, good morning. Look, we know the impact's going to be big. That's, I guess, the bottom line. We don't really know. And to your point, we should take all forecasts with a bit of salt, given, as you said, last year we were expecting unemployment to hit 10%, or maybe some people even said 15%, believe it or not. We peaked about 6, I think, from memory, and we're back down under 5 now. So important not to overreact. The real concern here is the confidence thing. And I talk about this semi-regularly. The more we lose confidence in the future, the more damage it's going to do. If we get back to spending, if we get back to investing, back to hiring, everything's okay. The real risk here is that we lose confidence. We think, well, there'll be another one of these, or the government won't support me, or my business is going to fail. If that starts to creep into people's thinking, that's the big watch out, because that's really hard to unravel.
There's so many eyes on New South Wales from across the country. New South Wales, the economy makes up 35% of Australia's GDP, so how this goes is going to be vital. The construction industry feeling for so many tradies and the companies behind them that have just been shut down. What do you think this is going to do moving forward in terms of the flow-on effect of job losses?
Yeah, this is super tough. I mean, so many tradies work on pretty thin margins. Of course, most of them are booking jobs, days or weeks out. There's not a lot of security at the best of times. If you take, well, at the moment, 2 weeks, probably longer, quite honestly. I'm no health expert, but I can't see this lockdown ending in a fortnight's time. So if you push this forward 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, all of a sudden that gets really serious. Now, the good news, of course, is there is some support from the government. But again, that confidence thing, if people keep their bookings for construction once this is over, if they push them out but don't cancel them, then those trades will have some light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully the combination of some retained earnings, some government support will see them through. But we know that jobs in housing in particular create about 6 jobs in the community. That's the accepted kind of job multiplier. And so you can see how quickly not only the industry itself, but the broader economy can be impacted if construction does take a big hit.
Logistically, for all these big projects, going to be an absolute nightmare, Scotty. Just finally, some more news. I want to ask you about credit cards. They're having a pretty bad month. We've learnt that complaints about them actually 14 times higher now than buy now, pay later products. Why?
Yeah, you said they're having a bad month. I'm crying crocodile tears over here, Matt. We know banks are charging an absolute fortune in interest. When interest from the Reserve Bank is effectively zero and we're still paying 16, 18, 20% on our credit cards, that's completely unconscionable in my mind. So I'm not too concerned. And that is the root, I think, of the problems. When you compare it to buy now, pay later, the good news about buy now, pay later is it's really simple. If you miss the payment, you get a late fee and that's it. It pretty much stops there. You might get a second late fee for some providers, but that's kind of as bad as it gets. And so to some degree, the damage is quarantined. If you think about credit cards, the compounding of that interest month after month, year after year, that's how people get in trouble. And if it comes down to the surcharges they're paying, the late fees we're charged, the way credit cards hit our personal finances, it's just a much bigger deal. And of course, there are many more out there than there are buy now, pay later accounts. That's probably the combination. But as always, our general advice, shop around. Make sure you're getting the best possible credit card you can. Cut your interest, cut your annual fee where you can. It's going to do you a lot better in the long run. Yeah,
it is incredible those rates haven't come down. Scotty, great advice as always. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Matt. Good morning.